Hi everyone, thanks for joining us for another episode of Dashboard Fridays. I'm Adam from Squared Up, and today I have my wonderful colleague Ben from our engineering team. Hey Ben, how's it going?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. We're here today to talk about a plugin that neither of us know a huge amount about, but you built the plugin and have built some dashboards and are here to talk about it. So tell us what plugin we're covering, and then we'll start taking a look at the dashboard.
Okay, so this is for the CircleCI plugin called CircleCI. It's a CI/CD piece of software, and this is the project's overview dashboard.
Nice. Okay. So the kind of people who would be interested in data from CircleCI, it's going to be your build engineers, DevOps engineers, devs in general, that kind of people. Anybody who's like deploying software by pushing code into GitHub or whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And who would typically want to see a dashboard like this? Would it be all those same people who are using the tools, or is there a more sort of specific or a completely different audience?
It could be anyone really. It could be the people who are actually running all of those builds. It could be used for a more general overview, management. It could be used at any level really.
Yeah, great. Okay. Well, yeah. Talk us through what the dashboard's showing then.
Yeah. So in the top left here, we have a list of all projects, just a quick overview of all the projects that are in this account. On the top right, then we have a basic overview of each of those projects that just gives us their general state. We can see the success rate and the average duration of those builds in there. And then we can see some quick statistics like the total number of runs that we've got across all of our projects, the total number of credits that we've used, the average success rate of all of our build runs, and the average duration of those build runs. And then we can also see the historical data in a line graph for those durations.
Nice. Okay. So why would somebody want to do this in Squared Up instead of just doing this in CircleCI directly?
Yeah, well, CircleCI can be quite restrictive in how it shows data. So you might be able to see some of these statistics, but you can't necessarily see some historical data in a line graph, like with these durations here. Another thing is it's not possible in CircleCI to monitor or alert users based on certain statistics. So, for example, with Squared Up, you can set monitors and alerts on your total credits used or your average duration. So once those get to a certain level, you'll be notified of that, and that can help you combat big bills and things like that. Um, the other thing is that only CircleCI users can see that data in CircleCI, whereas with Squared Up, you can share that data among peers much easier.
Nice. Okay. So broader audience, anybody can sort of see it. It can obviously be put alongside other data. That's sort of part of the software lifecycle. You could have your GitHub dashboards. You could have your AWS dashboards. Everything sort of either side of it. You mentioned the line graph sort of showing historical data. Is that something that's not possible in CircleCI? How does it work in Squared Up?
Well, it just calls the circle. So Squared Up, it calls the CircleCI API and gets that historical data, but it's not possible to see that just in the CircleCI dashboard when you go to the CircleCI website.
Okay, but it just sort of naturally works. So you don't have to do any special like config or anything special in Squared Up. You can just pick a line graph and it just shows up.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, that's great. You mentioned sort of things like monitoring. So obviously you can turn on a monitor for pretty much anything, a state-based monitor, a threshold-based monitor. So any of this data can be monitored on. Is there any are there any specific cases where like some of Squared Up's other features, maybe like SQL Analytics, might be useful on top of this data, like to crunch some numbers, merge it with data from other tools, anything like that?
Yeah, so it might be useful to use this in conjunction with something like the Azure DevOps plugin or some of the AWS code pipelines things. So if you have other build pipelines running in other services, then you can combine this data with those other ones.
Nice. Okay, so not necessarily the case that every dev team has to start using the same tools all the time. You can just grab SQL Analytics, pull in your data from CircleCI, just make a dashboard that looks like this, but for every tool.
Yeah,
That's pretty
exactly.
good. Not usually one for the big sales pitch, but that's a pretty good use case, I think. Is there anything worth knowing about how to set the plugin up? Is it pretty simple, just an API token or something like that?
It's incredibly simple to set up. It is just an API token, nothing else.
Okay. Could you just give us a really just like make a new dashboard and just give us a really quick example of like scoping, picking a data stream, like generally how you'd add a tile to a dashboard like this.
Yeah, sure. So you can create a new dashboard with this little plus icon here. You just click on that, creates a new dashboard, gives you a tile automatically. You can just click configure. Now we can pick the scope that we want to get information about. So in this case, we've already got one CircleCI projects. And now we have a list of data streams. So I can pick, say, my list of all of my workflows. And if we just wait a moment, we've also got some filtering options and grouping options here, but it's automatically picked the line graph. We can see now we've already got that information nicely there. We can also pick some other visualizations if we want. We can take a look at this data in a table so we can get some more information, maybe specifically our start time and end time and duration that we can't necessarily see with just a line graph, because since this defaults to a specific column.
And with the aggregation options there, you could get like an average of the average duration, that kind of stuff. You could group things together and get a donut showing successes against failures, the typical sort of inline stuff. Are there any other interesting data streams worth calling out? Just pop the list back open.
Yeah. There's a few here. So we've got a few based on workflows and pipelines. So you can get just the most recent pipeline, all of the pipelines. You can get cancelled workflows, failed workflows, the ones that are running, the ones that were successful, and some of these summary metrics. So here we can just see the blocks. We can see a quick overview, just green, orange, red, about some of these different projects, or we can take a look at the same thing in the table, and we can see some of that data there, and it's all quite useful.
Nice. So just going back to the dashboard you started with there, that's built into the plugin, right? So you add the plugin, stick in your credentials to set the plugin up, and you get this dashboard out of the box, and it just all works. Do you have to make any changes yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Well, nice and easy one to cover. Thank you very much for your time. Let me just wrap us up. We have loads of other dashboards and plugins. You can check out squaredup.com/dashboard gallery. If you have any questions, I won't give out Ben's email directly. Go to community.squaredup.com. Big community of experts, and we have a topic now dedicated to SquareUp Cloud and all of our new plugins. So yeah, keep checking out the dashboard gallery. There's loads of stuff coming, and we'll have more videos in this series, sort of walking through some of those dashboards. But yeah, otherwise, thanks to Ben for joining us. Thank you very much, and we will see you for the next one. Thanks all.